Welcome back, everybody. It's Question Mark.
And Ame!
And we're back for what's hopefully going to be the last section of the Marvel Super Heroes Commander tier list on the non-standard, non-commander stuff, all the extras.
Holy heaven, this has been a journey.
We still need to do the Fantastic Four.
True, but that still will be...
Yeah, who knows the order that they'll end up in.
We can
It
finally
doesn't matter.
retire this poor tier list.
I know. This poor massive tier list, which so far has 4 that are at the maximum rank of My Hero, and a dozen or so more that are quite strong, that are in fact super. But where we left off was the Howling Commandos, a common, so that's not boding well.
That guy on the left can't decide if he's British or a pirate.
Oh, this guy?
Pirate shirt, bowler hat, what are we doing here?
So, interesting, I know who that is. That's Dum Dum Dugan. I just spelled his name wrong, but
What?
close enough. That's Dum Dum Dugan. Yep. Where's a bowler hat? Yeah. I don't see his classic comic outfit in any of these, but what the heck, Rob? What in the Rob Liefeld are we looking at here? Well, yeah, anyway, I believe that's his original outfit.
He's almost like a Bobby from the neck up and from the neck down. What?
Well, he's a member of the Howling Commandos, which was Captain America's, like, squad that would roll with him. Oh, the quote's by Dum Dum Dugan.
We've been fighting this or that war our whole lives, and yeah, war is hell, but spend enough time in hell and you can fight like the devil. I'll see myself out.
So what do they do?
For 1 mana and a white, you get a 3/1 human soldier hero. For 5 mana, creatures you control get +1/+1 until end of turn. Soldiers you control gain vigilance until end of turn. I am so sorry for that accent. That was terrible, and I feel bad.
Well, don't feel as bad as these guys, who are terrible. A 2 mana 3/1 is not that impressive after the original, let's see, Blade of the Sixth Pride, I think is what it's called. Yeah, all the way back in 2007.
Whew, that art is majestic.
Oh yeah, 2 mana 3/1. So way to go. And this was a common back in 2007. In Future Sight, they decided that they'd do a cycle of vanilla creatures that were full art like this, and that was the first time they ever did that.
Honestly, I think that's a decent thing to do for vanilla cards.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, we got the extra space. Why not make the card pretty?
And Justin Sweet knocked it out of the park here with this Catwoman. Very cool. But the Howling Commandos are not much better than that. You can pay 5 to give all your creatures a small buff, and your soldiers are vigilant, which, like,
Until
who
end of
cares?
turn.
Yeah, I mean, they're just a million better soldier commanders.
I wonder if we can spot Logan in there somewhere. I think he was part of the Howling Commandos.
He was not.
Oh, he wasn't?
No, because the Howling Commandos were American, and Logan was Canadian. Logan did fight in World War II, I believe, but yeah, he fought for the Canadians. So they were not together. Next on our list is the Immortal Weapons. Another team here. I only recognize the Iron Fist.
Very Kung Fu flavored, I see.
Uh-huh.
That's great.
Well, what do they do?
For 4 mana and a red, you get a 4/4 human warrior hero. When the Immortal Weapons enter, return target instant or sorcery card from your graveyard to your hand. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, target creature gains +2/+0 and gains menace until end of turn.
Well, that's not bad. That's not bad. Okay, let's see.
Looks like sidekick material to me.
Well, I'm thinking wild card, maybe, like right in the middle. Yeah, maybe around here or something. Because, okay, actually, well, 5 mana 4/4 is a little underpowered. Getting an instant or sorcery card from your graveyard back is pretty nice.
Especially in red.
Yeah, because it reminds me of Archaeomancer, which that's not quite it.
Archaeomancer. Archaeomancer.
Eh?
Archaeomancer.
Hey, got there. Archaeomancer.
That is a cool outfit.
Yeah. 4 mana, 1/2. When she enters, return an instant or sorcery card from your graveyard to your hand. So for just 1 more mana in red, you get to do that. But then also casting non-creature spells, which is easy, gives a creature +2/+0 and menace until end of turn, which is not bad. And Archaeomancer famously is involved in a number of infinite combos.
Oh.
With things like, I think it's Ghostly Flicker. Ghostly Flicker, yeah, you can exile 2 artifacts, creatures, or lands you control, then return them to the battlefield under your control. So you can exile something like Archaeomancer itself and a Gilded Lotus, which can tap for 3 mana.
Oh.
And so the Archaeomancer enters, returns the Ghostly Flicker to your hand, and the Ghostly Flicker also effectively untaps the Gilded Lotus, so you get the mana back, and then you just do the things again. Now, try to convert that over to the Immortal Weapons. Well, I mean, obviously we don't have a lot of the flicker stuff that we would have in blue. So in red we might have, what about like Splinter Twin? Splinter Twin. Want to read that for us?
Let's see. For 2 mana and double red, you get to enchant a creature. Enchanted creature has tap to put a token that's a copy of this creature onto the battlefield. That token has haste. Exile it at the beginning of the next step.
End step, but yeah.
End step, sorry.
Okay, so you can have the Immortal Weapons, make a copy of themselves, and return an instant or sorcery to your hand. And then, I don't know. There might be some combos here, but I'm thinking that you probably need to go like 3 cards in. I'm a little skeptical if there's a 2-card infinite combo. But there might be a 3-card infinite combo, and if there is, then it's an Archaeomancer that also gives +2/+0 repeatedly, and that could be a game winner. So there might be a combo out there, and so I think I am going to keep it in the middle of wild cards, where maybe you find the combo and put it together. And the next one on our list is the Thanos Copter. A classic joke, because...
The biggest self-own and epic rap battles of history.
Yep. And if I remember right, this was from an era in the comics where, like, he couldn't just fly, and they kind of lampshaded that. Like, wait a second, we have a supervillain who can't simply fly, so how does he get from place to place? A helicopter!
Really? I just thought it was because I figured it must have been in the Silver Age when everybody got their own car.
Well, I might have something to do with that, too. It does look like a toy that was repurposed from something else that was made for someone else. And they're just like, I don't know, let's paint it yellow, and then it's Thanos' copter instead of the G.I. Joe copter.
It looks so dumb. But that's kind of the charm. For 6 mana, you get a 5/5 legendary artifact, a vehicle. It has flying and haste. When the Thanos Copter enters, vehicles you control become artifact creatures until end of turn. Whenever a vehicle you control deals combat damage to a player, draw a card. Crew 2.
Okay, so this can, in fact, be your commander. When a couple of years it couldn't have been, because in the past, a card had to say either legendary creature or this can be your commander.
But then we had that one Magic set where it was basically fantasy in space.
Yeah, I was going to say...
I can't remember what it was called.
Shorikai, at the time, for a long time, was the only vehicle that could be your commander. And it was a pretty good commander, although in large part because you could repeatedly draw 2 cards, discard a card, and make a 1/1.
Wait, why was this one allowed?
Because it says specifically it can be your commander.
Oh, okay.
Right on it. Yeah, Edge of Eternities.
Thank you.
Is where they changed the rules so that vehicles and spacecraft can be commanders as long as they have a power and toughness down here. Which is especially funny because I think...
Shurikai Infinity.
There was something like, the Eternity Elevator was in that same set where they're like, spacecraft can be your commanders. But not this one. Because it doesn't have a power and toughness in the corner, so it can't be your commander.
I guess they had to have at least one example of, but not this one.
I don't think that they did, but they did it. So it was just really frustrating at the time to go like, okay, so vehicles count, spacecraft count, but not this spacecraft. So how do I do a search for this? But thankfully, Scryfall has a little thing where you can just put in is:commander, and that actually solved a lot for me when I learned that like last week.
I like that we can have vehicles be commanders now. It fits.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, once the Star Trek set comes out, people are going to be having pew pew deck battles between the Enterprise and a Klingon Warbird. You just know it.
And the Thanos copter.
The Thanos copter is going to get sniped out of the sky, but yeah.
No, actually, when Star Trek comes out, I want to build a Thanos copter deck just to take on the Starship Enterprise with the Thanos copter. Because here's the thing.
Because it would be funny.
Yeah. And we've seen, at the time of recording, we have seen a version of the Enterprise. I'm not going to be showing it off here just because that's not what this is about. It's a set that hasn't come out yet. We don't want to be talking too much about that. But, so, okay, with any colorless commander, you are held back a lot by not having access to any of the 5 colors of magic.
But the Thanos copter is helping us out by having vehicles become artifact creatures until the end of the turn. Is that when it enters or just in general? When it enters. It's an... Ooh, that's not great.
Well, let's look here. Okay, so type line vehicle. And we're looking at ones that are allowed in colorless decks. And we'll sort them by the EDH rec range, so we'll see the best ones first. And there are 83. So,
okay, we have options.
So this is the thing. I think what you actually want to do with this deck is play, all of these, especially the like small and medium-sized ones, get as many vehicles on the battlefield as possible, and then drop Thanos Copter, animating them all simultaneously and beating the ever-loving hell out of somebody. I think you play a colorless ramp deck with...
Wait. Scroll down to Clown Car. I have to read that.
Okay. You roll some 6-sided dice, and for each odd result, you make a clown.
For each even result, you put a 1/1 counter on Clown Car.
Yep.
So you could actually turn this into a bomb in a deck with the Thanos Copter. You just wait until you can drop a whole lot of mana on it.
Yeah. Like 6 or something. You roll 6 dice. You get either, some variation of 6 counters and 6 clown robots. Not to mention, like, the ham sphere that makes hamster tokens. There's all kinds of great stuff. The Reaver Titan is a 10/10 with protection from small.
Oh, boy.
Oh, and when it attacks, it lasers everyone for 5. Yeah, so there's a lot of cool stuff in here. Oh, Cultivator's Caravan, by the way, isn't summoning sick unless you crew it. So you can pay 3, play this, and then tap it for mana immediately. As long as you don't crew it. Yeah, I mean, there's just a lot of gold in here. There's a UFO, there's a...
Totally not the Argo.
Yeah, I mean, and totally not the spaceship from, like, 2001: A Space Odyssey.
Yeah.
That's definitely not a...
Warhammer mech.
Well, I wasn't thinking of Warhammer. I was thinking of Pacific Rim, a Jaeger. That's what I was thinking of.
TARDIS!
We have the literal TARDIS. We have a train. We have,
we have a
careening minecart. Lots of boats. The Weatherlight after it went evil. A box full of dead guys.
Bessie.
A Model T Ford. So this deck, to me, first off, hilarious.
Yes, this is inherently funny.
And I think the deal is, once again, you just play Thran Dynamo and Mind Stone and Soul Ring and all the colorless mana ramp that you can in order to drop vehicle after vehicle. And then when it looks like you're about to die because you haven't played anything that can block for a long time, you drop the Thanos Copter, everyone comes to life, you swing with a gigantic army, you kill somebody, and you draw like 11 cards. and then you lose the game. That's what's going to happen. So I'm going to put Thanos Copter in wild card, but somewhere around like, around like here.
How does it compare to other potential vehicle commanders?
That's a good question. The most popular vehicle commander?
The Titanic?
Yeah.
The RMS,
RMS
Titanic?
From the Doctor Who Christmas special, starring David Tennant and Kylie Minogue.
Oh, neat.
Yeah, the pop star Kylie Minogue was in this one. She was dressed in a French maid outfit the whole time. So I actually have a Surge foil of this because I was going to build a meme deck before this could be your commander. I was going to build one with Captain Rex Nebula.
Wait, why is this one the most popular vehicle commander? Is it because it gives you access to red?
It's because for 4 mana you can cast this, right? And then the next turn you can crew it for 3, and then hit somebody for 7 commander, and then sacrifice it and make 7 treasures.
Oh.
And then with those 7 treasures you can recast it. Also, there's a number of things where you can make it deal double damage. Damage doublers in red are fairly common, and then you make twice as much treasure and with which to recast it and do the damage doubling again.
Okay,
and red gives it haste in a lot of ways.
I do see how the copter would compare unfavorably to this.
Yeah, because this, you don't need to build a vehicle deck. It gives you access to a color, and this also makes like 7 mana most of the time. But yeah, my original plan was Captain Rex Nebula, a red-white vehicles deck that takes things like the RMS Titanic and smashes them into people. And I was going to call it Titanic 2, The Revenge.
You should have called it Ramming Speed.
No, I like the idea. Okay, honestly, it's been a joke for like decades. Why didn't they... Titanic was so popular. Why didn't they make a Titanic 2? Because the boat sank. And because it's based on a true story of the boat sinking. Why in the world would you make a Titanic 2? A famous joke in Hollywood is that they're greenlighting a Titanic 2. And so that's why I thought of the idea of, yes, Titanic 2, The Revenge.
Would you believe me if I told you there were some terrible children's animated movies modeled after the tale of the Titanic?
Oh, I know. I've also seen The Nostalgia Critic.
Yeah.
Okay. We're gonna move on.
Okay, sorry. That was fun.
Mm-hmm. So, next one on our list. We have to go by the list, by the way, because I was unable to exclude the other commanders here. Oh, are we on to the Vision and Scarlet Witch? Yes.
Hell yeah, we are.
So, the Vision and Scarlet Witch, your OTP?
One of them. Yeah.
Yeah,
you know
one
what?
true pairing.
I'm just going to put them there until I can think of another one.
Yeah, at least from Marvel. What do they do?
For 2 mana and double red, you get a 3/3 mutant hero with flying. Whenever you cast a spell, add red mana and put a 1/1 counter on these 2.
Yes.
Cast all the spells.
So, immediately, if you're an experienced Magic player, an experienced Commander player, even especially in like CEDH, this will remind you of Bergie, who I think is spelled that way. Yes, God of Storytelling.
Oh, I like her already.
Mm-hmm. She's 2 and a red for a legendary creature God, who's a 3/3. Whenever you cast a spell, you add red. Until end of turn, you don't lose this mana as steps and phases end.
Oh.
And creatures you control can boast twice as hard. Boast was a mechanic that was in this set, never before and never since, and it's not that great. Also, she can instead be a horn.
Discard a card, exile the top 2 cards of those library, and you can play them this turn.
Yeah, despite this, not a very horny deck. But 3 mana for when you cast a spell you make red is strictly better than 4 mana whenever you cast a spell you make red. As far as going infinite is concerned for competitive. But this is real close.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, first off, it gets a +1/+1 counter, so if you do manage to do a big storm turn, you won't just end up with, like, having looped a number of spells that hopefully end the game, but also you will end up with a big commander with flying. It could be like a 12/12 or something and hit somebody and kill them in 2 shots. Or maybe just one if you manage to make a big enough storm turn.
Cast a lot of spells, go big.
And that's really the main benefit. I mean, flying is also kind of nice, but they're even the same size, a 3/3, and it has that alternate side to it. And also, this being an artifact creature, it's vulnerable to a few more removal spells that people play. So it seems like it is suboptimal for competitive when a mono red deck is already like kind of fringe. But if you don't want to go competitive, what do you do with it? I think that you just do competitive but worse. You just do competitive but not as good. Because one of the things that you would do in competitive is things like Lotus, is it Bloom? Is that what it is? Yeah, you would do Lotus Bloom in a deck like that, where you suspend it for 0 mana, you wait 3 turns, and then it casts itself for free, and allows you to sacrifice it for 3 mana. So, when this does cast itself, it makes you a mana for free. You can do other suspend cards like that, but you can also follow it up with, Pyretic Ritual, stuff like this.
Oh, yeah.
Take 2 mana, make it 3 mana.
And if you can find some red storm cards, that's the stuff.
Seething Song to upgrade it even more. Mana Geyser to upgrade it even more. Grape Shot is a classic storm card, which, what do you know? They put Scarlet Witch on it.
Once again, totally mogging her son.
Sorry, honey, I make this look good. Dealing 1 damage to any target, but then in theory you do it like a lot. And there's quite a bit more that you can do. A finisher might be something like a Comet Storm, where you can pay X and double red, instant, multi-kicker. Choose any target, then choose another target for each time the spell was kicked. Comet Storm does X damage to each of them. So if you make, 80 mana or something like that, you can have X be like 35, 40 or something like that, and then aim a Comet Storm at everybody at the same time.
I know you're kind of down talking these two, like saying they're not good enough for competitive Magic, but honestly, I would like to make a deck with these two.
I can't blame you, because like I said, it's like one step down from competitive, so honestly, this commander is scary. It's also like worth a bunch of money, for a good reason. Anything that is worth playing from the Jumpstart set is fairly expensive right now.
I guess I'll have to wait till it cools off then.
Yeah, especially because...
I'm poor!
Yeah. But also we can print our own proxies or whatever. Like, who cares? We are extremely pro-proxy around here.
Because we're poor.
All that said, up here.
Yeah.
Maybe about there.
Yeah.
I think it's probably going to have to be like a bracket 4 or something, because I think if you build it bracket 3, it just means that, like, you stumbled a little, and do not try to play it lower than that. As we move on, is it the Wasp who's next? Just got to make sure.
Yes, it is.
Wasp, okay. Janet Van Dyne. What does she do?
For 2 mana and a white, you get a 1/1 human hero with flying. When the Wasp enters, she deals 4 damage to target tapped creature an opponent controls, and she's a tutorial card, so I think we already know the answer.
Yeah, she's not that good.
Sorry, girl.
Somewhere around here. Yeah, I mean, flying commanders are nice. Ones that don't cost a lot of mana are nice. White creatures that can, like, deal damage and maybe kill a creature, cool. But a 3-mana 1/1 is not going to cut it with an Enters ability. It's just not even close.
No.
And Psychic material, not really. I don't think it's going to make the cut in most human or hero decks either.
I like the artwork, though. It's very pretty.
Yeah, it's nice. And I keep having to... the Wizard.
And his outfit's yellow.
In the
What
Golden
were they
Age,
thinking? At the Golden Age, of course.
he fought alongside the mightiest heroes in the All-Winners squad. He's slowed down since then, but as is the case with many heroes, retirement didn't quite take. Okay. When you gotta go, you gotta go. What does he do?
I am too mature for this. For 3 mana and a red, you get a 3/3 human hero with first strike and haste.
That's it. All right.
Again, we could probably tell from the outfit. Mm-hmm. But that is funny.
I think I'm gonna put him like kind of near the top of rejects, because honestly, this is nothing to base a deck around. You know, 4 mana 3/3 fails the vanilla test. First strike and haste in theory brings it up to like a C, but then there's no synergy here. There's nothing to build a deck around. And same thing the other way around. In the 99, I mean, you have to be pretty desperate for heroes in order to want this guy in the 99. Even in mono red, you can probably do better.
You could play him just because it's hilarious that...
I have heard people doing that because it's funny. Mm-hmm. Like, oh, excuse me, everybody. I gotta go. I think we're gonna move on though to Tiger Shark.
It's funny because it's P.
Yeah. Thank you. Tiger Shark, Abyssal Hunter, I believe is a Submariner, like Namor the Submariner villain.
Certainly has the vibe. That
Yeah.
that fin is way too big for his head.
I guess so.
Also orange and purple?
Yeah, so
Okay.
that he stands out underwater. So he's very visible.
I do like the sawfish kind of jagged things he's got on his thighs.
Oh yeah, that's kind of cool.
That is kind of cool. Mm-hmm. All right, for 2 mana and double hybrid blue-black, you get a 2/3 shark human villain. Whenever Tiger Shark enters or attacks, he connives. And for those of you who don't remember, that's draw and then discard a card. And if you discarded a non-land card, put a 1/1 counter on this creature. For 4 mana and hybrid blue-black, Tiger Shark can't be blocked this turn. Dun.
Okay, now you start doing that. But would you believe it if I told you?
What? I knew it.
Literal Jaws Relentless Predator is a commander that exists, and they didn't make it blue at all. It's just red, which, like, I get that Jaws is like an animal, it is a predator, and it is very aggressive, vicious, and everything. But there's two things that give you a color usually. One is your attitude, and the other one is like your environment, like your aptitude in a way. The shark should be blue because it lives in the water. It can't live not in the water. So I'm still upset about this. It should have been red-blue, and then you could have a cool shark deck. Also, it could say, like, whenever a shark you control deals combat damage to a player, but no. Honestly, the card's not bad, but, like, they could have made it much more fun. So Tiger Shark. Also, we'll note that he is a shark by the creature type.
Yep.
Which means that he does have, like, shark genetic traits. I think you can see that in his teeth.
Yeah.
So he's not just a guy who is shark-themed. He is a shark guy.
In that case, does that mean that he's growing his teeth? He's growing shark teeth out of his thighs?
I hope not. He's also doing, like, the Batman thing out of his gauntlets there.
I think that's part of his costume, though. I don't
I
know
think
about
that's all part of his costume.
Okay.
Because it's purple, you know. In any case, when he enters or attacks, he connives. That's not bad.
Yeah.
I mean, entering means that he'll trigger at least once before someone can even think about removing him. So he could be a 4-mana 3/4 who just looted you a card, and every time he attacks, he'll loot and possibly grow before people can block him. And then, even though 5 mana to gain unblockable is kind of a lot, it's a pretty good thing for a commander to have. And there's lots of synergies with conniving from things that trigger when you draw cards, things that trigger when you discard cards. And he's a villain. Lots of things that synergize with that. So I'm actually going to put him in wild cards, and I think he's okay actually. He could be better in the 99, but considering that he grows and can be unblockable and gives you access to 2 colors and is a villain, he's got a lot of cool synergies going on, just barely enough that I think he's a playable commander if you really want to.
You could do a hell of a lot worse.
Yes, you can. Okay, next I think, is it Tippy Toe's turn? No,
Nope,
it's not.
it's Thor's.
I messed up the alphabet again, I guess. As we go up to, shoot, which Thor was it?
Guardian of Midgard.
Okay. Thor, Guardian of Midgard.
That is some epic art right there.
Yeah, it's one of the scene boxes. It's looking pretty cool. Oh, I can see Carol Danvers down there, and Giant Man, and maybe a Hulk Fist.
And I don't know who that is at the bottom.
I think that's Vision.
It's too tiny to be Vision.
He's maybe a little in the background, closer to Giant Man, and there's like a laser coming out where his head should
Okay, I give up.
Anyway. What does he do?
For 3 mana, double red, you get a 5/5 God Warrior hero with flying. Whenever a source you control deals non-combat damage to an opponent, you may exile that many cards from the top of your library. You may play those cards this turn.
I mean, so we've talked about before that a 5 mana 5/5 passes a vanilla test, and with flying makes it a good start. Those are stats that you can rumble with happily. But a source you control dealing non-combat damage to an opponent. People are always trying to make burn work in red because things like Lightning Bolt just do not scale very well to a game with 3 opponents with 40 life, and to the creatures that you can cast when you have a game that goes 11 turns or something. Lightning Bolt's a great card, but it can't keep up in the late game. Just about nothing in red can, short of like Blasphemous Act. So we're always on the lookout for things that can make use of this like non-combat damage. However, you usually have to spend mana on the non-combat damage, and then when you do so, if you aim it at your opponent, which, once again, lowering your opponent's life total to anything above 0 doesn't really matter. Will get you some cards that you can play this turn, but I'd be concerned that you would quickly run out of mana.
Yeah.
Because the cards that you'll exile, they'll be like 2 mountains and a chain reaction or something. It's like, well, I don't want to board wipe right now with a chain reaction, and I already played a mountain this turn, so... And then the Lightning Bolt, you could have aimed at a creature attacking you that had 3 toughness. Instead, you aimed at their face, and you got 3 cards you couldn't play. Or sometimes you can chain them back to back to back. Maybe you fill your deck with 1 and 2 mana spells that you can just, like, bop somebody in the face over and over again. You're still going to get stuck on land sometimes. This only starts happening on turn 5. Well, really after turn 5, probably. I mean, you could ramp a little bit into him. If you're lucky, you could, like, Seething Song to get him out on turn 3 or something, but...
The kind of deck you're describing sounds like it's a bit of a pea shooter.
Yeah, I mean, I think I'm gonna put him in wild cards, but pretty low. He's a little bit more obviously strong than some cards like Tiger Shark and Thanos Copter, in that, like, he's out of the box passing the vanilla test, and hell, he could have no other text on him, and you might win a game sometimes just going like, I'm playing a red deck, and my commander's a flying 5/5. Bop, 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 you dead? You know? Things can happen like that. Much easier than these other ones where it's like, okay, let's really, brainstorm here what we're going to do. And yet, I think that this synergy is kind of hit or miss. Difficult to balance in a way that's really reliable. Kind of working at different odds. Another way, though, might be things that don't cost you mana on the spot. Things like pingers. Prodigal Pyromancer. Maybe this is the way to go. You can play lots of creatures like this that can tap to do 1 damage to any target. And then when Thor is out, this effectively draws you a card as well, kind of. And make sure that you do these effects before playing your land for the turn. That way, at least you're, hopefully not missing your land drop, and I don't know. You can try it. He also might be better in the 99 of certain other decks, including certain other Thors,
Yeah.
So, that's how I feel as we move on to Tippy Toes, terrific partner.
Who is so cute that it's kind of freaking me out a little bit.
Yeah.
You were designed with sinister purpose. I just know it. Anyway, let's find out if it's clear what it is. For 3 mana and a green, you get a 2/4 squirrel hero. If you would create 1 or more tokens, instead create those tokens plus an additional food token. At the beginning of your end step, if you gained life this turn, draw a card.
Okay, so the question with most of these is, can they be your commander? Is it worth making them your commander? And maybe.
You definitely want to focus on making them tokens.
Yeah, so...
Make those tokens, eat that food, draw those cards.
Gain that life. 4 mana 2/4 is nothing to write home about, but whenever you would make one kind of token, also make another kind of token, where have we seen that before? Well, there's the elephant in the room, Chatterfang.
The other squirrel in the room.
Very opposite of size of elephant. This one also, if you would make a token, you also make a squirrel.
And he has Forest Walk.
And he has a black mana symbol on him, so you can play a green and black deck. Whereas Tippy Toe doesn't have a black bone in her body. She is not the least bit evil. And whenever you, at the beginning of your end step, if you gain life this turn, draw a card. You get to play one of my favorite cards then. I think it's Essence Warden. Yeah. You want to read that?
Whenever another creature enters the battlefield, gain 1 life.
Yep. Oh, no, never mind. At the beginning of your end step. So she actually only draws you 1 card per turn. Honestly, that by itself is what's going to put her down in Sidekick for me. But she's going to be way high in Sidekicks. Because you could absolutely do a mono-green deck that makes lots of tokens, including food, gains life, draws cards. To what end? I don't know. She doesn't really have a game plan for how to finish things. I assume it's whatever the tokens were that you were making primarily, where you're getting the food tokens in addition.
I was assuming that it was a go-wide thing.
Yeah, it's pretty easy to make lots of squirrel tokens. You can make lots of plant tokens, lots of sapperling tokens. But honestly, I think she's just going to be at her best in the 99 of a Chatterfang deck. Which, by the way, if you control both of these at the same time, these are replacement effects, but they do not contradict. Which means that if you have an event that would create 1 token, you can choose which of these effects applies first, and as long as it doesn't stop the original thing from happening, then you get to do the other one as well. So most of the time, if you would make 1 token, you will also make a squirrel and a food. You'll get both the things, as you would hope. So, all that said, I think that she's a pretty strong sidekick. And next on our list is Titanium Man. So, like Iron Man, but he's like, so iron, famously not the toughest metal on the periodic table. Let's upgrade it. Titanium Man. Well, this is going to be strictly better, of course.
I can't decide if I hate this guy or if I love him.
Why is he all green?
For 2 mana and double black, you get a 3/4 human villain. And whenever Titanium Man attacks, choose 1. Titanium Man gains flying, or Titanium Man deals 1 damage to any target.
I like the flavor text. My armor was created with but one thought in mind: to smash Iron Man.
And someday he'll have a rival of his own named Tungsten Man.
Sure. Or maybe he settled down with a titanium woman or something. It is kind of weird that he is bright green like the Hulk, and he wants to smash Iron Man. He's got like some kind of skirt thing going on here, and like kind of Pac-Man face or something. I don't know what's going on in there. But as a magic card, I mean, we're failing the vanilla test,
Yep.
and then he gains flying or like zapping a thing for 1 damage occasionally.
This does not strike me as being very good.
No, this is not commander material. Is this in the 99 material for any deck? Probably not. Probably not. I think that being an artifact creature is something that puts you over the top a little bit, because there's a lot of villains in mono black that just have flying and can do something else cool, and then he just dies to one more thing than the others. He doesn't connive, he doesn't have menace, he doesn't really synergize with anything.
Yeah.
I think he's not terrible, but I think he's still going to be a reject, because I think he's not going to make it in the 99 of any commander deck.
And you still put him below the Wizard.
What?
You did.
There. All right. Now then, who's next? Ultimo? Ultimo? I know Ultron.
Is this
Ultimo
Ultron
is
after
a different guy?
Ultron after he watched the after no no not
The
after he
Terminator?
watched Terminator?
Yeah, I think so. Okay, I do not know the lore on this guy. I'll just be straight up. I'm not going to guess.
I got
but
nothing.
he's Civilization's End, so that sounds bad.
For 4 mana and double black, you get a 6/5 robot villain with menace. When Ultimo enters, each opponent sacrifices a creature of their choice. For 2 mana and a black, and discarding this card, each opponent sacrifices a creature of their choice. Okay, so if he's a commander, that bottom text is useless. Unless he somehow gets bounced.
Kind of. So, black is the one color where you could, in theory, play this commander, sacrifice him, reanimate him back to your hand or the battlefield, discard him, play him again, like loop him around and around and around.
In any case, it seems like this guy's goal is to get people to sacrifice their own dudes.
Yeah.
So they're always going to start with the bottom up, and it could be painful if there just aren't that many creatures on the field, but given how long it takes this guy to come up, it's going to have to be a post-board wipe situation.
I mean, okay. I like that for 6 mana he's a 6/5 menace. That technically fails the vanilla test by 1 toughness, but menace to me makes up for it. Entering and then each opponent sacrifices a creature is pretty powerful, and so is his discard version of it. It's very similar to Flashbag Marauder, which has been played in Commander for years.
I normally don't call stuff ugly, but wow.
Holy jeez, this thing is ugly. It's from Grixis, a world of zombies and demons. There's basically nothing alive there except for demons.
Okay, so demons they have a bit of a range when it comes to appearance. Mm-hmm. And believe it or not, there are some hear me outs in Zombieland.
You know what? Okay, let's not get into that, please. But I do like Kev
Frankenstein's
Walker's
monster is
art.
technically a zombie.
Okay, yes. So each opponent sacrifices a creature. There's a lot of synergies with that, and this can be extremely powerful if you're doing it repeatedly. So your opponents don't get to keep crap. So I think what you do here is that you build a Reanimator deck. You can play things like, Phyrexian Rebirth is a favorite of mine. No, Phyrexian,
Alter?
Something else? Phyrexian... God, there are so many Phyrexians. I'll know it when I see it. I thought it started with something.
They've got Hellraiser and Geiger vibes, so
Reclamation! Phyrexian Reclamation. Okay.
That's something in their favor.
Can you read that for us?
For 1 mana, you get an enchantment. Pay 1 mana, 1 black, and 2 life to return a target creature card from your graveyard to your hand. Oh, I see where this is going.
Yeah, so you can repeatedly bring Ultimo back to your hand and then discard them to make everybody discard or sacrifice creatures. You can do this ability at instant speed. It also doesn't count as casting a spell. You can there's lots of things you can do around like creatures dying. You can play it with what is it? The Meat Hook Massacre. Seems like it would be a really good card in this deck.
But which one?
The original.
For X and double black, you get a legendary enchantment. When the Meat Hook Massacre enters, each creature gets -X/-X until end of turn. Whenever a creature you control dies, each opponent loses 1 life. Whenever a creature an opponent control dies, you gain 1 life.
Yep, so you're talking about following a board wipe? Well, the Meat Hook Massacre is probably the best one, but honestly, Black has access to a lot of them, from Toxic Deluge to Damnation.
Can we take a look at Meat Hook Massacre too?
Okay, this one hasn't struck as many chords with people, but it is, oh yeah, it's XX black, 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 so it costs twice as much.
When Meat Hook Massacre 2 enters, each player sacrifices X creatures. Whenever a creature you control dies, you may pay 3 life. If you do, return that card onto your control with a finality counter on it. Whenever a creature an opponent controls dies, they may pay 3 life. If they don't, return that card under your control with a finality counter on it.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, this
So
could
you
be
can
good
pull
in
some
that
bullshit
deck
with
too.
that.
So basically, you do a big black deck. You know, so you're doing the Cofferboard combo. You're doing maybe Bubbling Muck is a card that you should know about for this kind of deck. Bubbling Muck. Until end of turn, whenever a player taps a swamp, they add an extra black. You could play all snow-covered swamps and go into extra planar lens. No, that's not quite it. Extra planar lens. There we go. Why don't you read that?
For 3 mana, you get an artifact, and it has the ability Imprint. When Extraplanar Lens enters the battlefield, you may exile target land you control. Whenever a land with the same name as the exiled card is tapped for mana, its controller adds 1 mana of any type that land produced.
Yeah, so if you play a deck that is monocolored, you can include a whole lot of snow-covered lands, and you can exile one of them, and then all of them tap for double mana, which is pretty great for only 3 colorless. Normally, the drawback is if you're playing, you know, mono black and someone else is playing black, then their swamps get boosted. But if you do snow-covered swamps, they all have the same name, your opponents probably aren't playing them.
I just noticed the colors on that thing they're mirrored to what they normally are.
White, blue, black, red, green. Yeah, they're in, like, counterclockwise order or something. Hey, Lars Grant West, can we, like, just flip your art a little bit?
Maybe that's intentional. Maybe we're supposed to be viewing it from the other side.
I don't know. Maybe. It's not an
Maybe
extra
this is the
planar
back
mirror,
side and the other
but,
side's the front side.
I don't know. In any case, I think there's actually a lot of options here. I do think that it's a bit of a stretch, but for wild cards, I think this goes up pretty high, like maybe around here.
I low-key want to make a movie about classic horror films centered around this guy.
Oh, really? Huh.
Yeah, because the more I look at him, the more he reminds me of Gort from The Day the Earth Stood Still.
Oh, yeah, that too. Oh, also, he's probably going to end up being similar to a Shieldred deck. The OG Shieldred, where are you? Shieldred the Whispering One, where you can return a creature from your graveyard to the battlefield every turn, and your opponents have to sacrifice creatures every turn. It's similar to that, but it costs a little bit less, and you have a reason to put her in the 99 and him in the command zone. So, anyway, we need to move on.
Yeah.
Ultron. Okay, the one from the scene box. And then we've got this guy in the background again, who has some kind of name like Black Death or something like that.
Grim Reaper.
Grim Reaper, that's right.
Or maybe it's just the Reaper.
Okay.
Point is, he sucks.
Yeah.
For 5 mana, you get a 4/4 robot villain with flying. Other robots and constructs you control get +2/+2.
Well, I mean, look, I think this is not a good commander because you're in colorless, and there's just like this is not very fancy. This is not very exciting, but it is somewhat powerful. So I think he's actually a great sidekick here.
Functional but boring.
Yeah, I want to put him up around like here actually, because if you want to build a robots and or constructs deck, this is one of the like auto includes in the 99.
At
Just
the very least.
yeah, just be playing like a blue deck or a black deck or something. Don't have him as your commander. And right, we have to keep reviewing. Oh,
The
Ultron
other
the
Ultron.
Annihilator. Okay.
He looks like
Whoa.
he's been eaten by venom.
Oh yeah. Huh.
For 3 mana and double black, you get a 3/4 robot villain with flying. Whenever Ultron enters or attacks, create a 2/2 colorless robot villain artifact creature token. Wow, that was adjectives. Whenever another artifact is put into your graveyard from the battlefield, or an artifact card is put into your graveyard from anywhere other than the battlefield, each opponent loses 1 life.
Okay, so that's a lot to try to wrap my head around here. So, okay, we're failing the vanilla test except that when he enters, you make a robot. So actually, you're making 5 power and 6 toughness.
Yep.
Never mind, passing the vanilla test then, because that's how it works. In fact, better than being a 5/6 flyer. If you kill Ultron, you get to keep the 2/2. And it also triggers when he attacks, which is easy to do when he's got flying. He gives you access to a color, so he's better than the other Ultron, in being that he's in black. Whenever another artifact is put into your graveyard from the battlefield. So that's effectively dies, but technically only creatures, quote-unquote, die. But this is still very, very good. There's a lot of loops that involve artifacts like going to your graveyard and coming back. Or an artifact is put into your graveyard from anywhere other than the battlefield, so discarding, milling, I don't know, putting in the graveyard from exile, wherever. Command zone? I don't know of a way of getting an artifact to go straight from your command zone to the graveyard, but anywhere other than the battlefield,
Getting counterspelled, I guess.
no matter how they get into your graveyard, each opponent loses 1 life. In fact, interesting example, if Ultron is your commander and you cast him and someone counterspells him, he actually goes from your command zone to the stack and then from the stack to the graveyard. However, that is putting him into the graveyard from anywhere other than the battlefield, and so each opponent would lose 1 life still.
Hey, cool, I was right.
Yeah, but kind of. It works. So, this is a go-wide artifact deck that has a built-in kill. Look, all right, let's go. Whoa. Let's go. Maybe even up here.
Ooh.
This guy is powerful. Okay, he's got all the things I keep talking about, from passing the vanilla test to having a theme that you can build around with artifacts dying, to having a win condition and your opponents lose life, repeatable triggers, and that when he enters or attacks, he's got evasion, so he can keep racking up damage. He can block other creatures with flying. And he's got at least 1 color, and you can play those things like the other Ultron that'll give all of your robots +1/+1. Sorry, +2/+2.
Yep.
Honestly, he's got everything that you could want in a monocolor commander. Other than, like, protection. Like, he doesn't have any kind of ward or indestructible or anything, but you're never going to get, like, all of those attributes on 1 card. To have almost all of them on 1 card is amazing. And then, of course, in black, you have instants where you can give indestructible. You have reanimation. You can just go big on mana and just cast him again. So,
When you hurt him, he's gonna try to hurt you more.
and he's going to also remind me a lot of Sir Conrad, I think is the guy. Sir Conrad. Am I remembering it correct? Conrad the Grim.
He reminds me of Tywin Lannister.
Yeah, I hate this guy. This guy is so annoying. He says, whenever, blah, 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 deal 1 damage to each opponent. it basically says whenever a creature does anything, your opponents each lose a life. And by the way, I'm going to do things to creatures all the time. It triggers when they die. It triggers when they're put into the graveyard from somewhere else. It triggers when they leave the graveyard. It triggers on opponents' graveyards, your graveyard. It triggers off of milling. And by the way, it can make you mill.
I can imagine Ultron saying, hey, you think I'm bad? Look at this guy.
Yeah, this guy triggers off of any creature going anywhere for anybody.
Not bad for an uncommon from Duskmourn.
Yeah, uncommon originally from Wilds of... Throne of Eldraine, actually.
My bad.
This is a reprint from Duskmourn, though. So this one only counts things going to your graveyard, but all the better, honestly. Sir Conrad is so annoying because he forces you, basically, to interact with your opponent's creatures so oppressively that they can't do jack without losing a life for it, for everyone. This one, you can at least do your own thing, and people are like, oh no, is he going to kill us? Rather than like, oh no, I guess I don't get to play Magic.
Exactly. There's got to be some give and take here. Mm-hmm. Again, the real meta is getting other people to still play with you.
So build a deck that you wouldn't mind losing to. And then build a deck that you think you would lose to. The next one on our list is Victor. Where are you, Victor? There you are, Victor. Victor Mancha.
I can't decide if he's cute or if I want to hit him.
Ooh, both? It looks like he is a Ultron sleeper agent or something. Like, he's got a bunch of Ultron bots behind him. Truly, you are my greatest creation. Okay, and yet he's wearing, like, Beats by Dre. And like, a training jacket.
And it says he's a human hero.
Artifact human hero? Okay, yeah, that says to me that he's a Ultron sleeper agent. He's an Ultron bot that doesn't know he's an Ultron bot, something like that.
And maybe has to rebel against his creator. Okay, I'm on board.
He's a member of the Runaways, which I know is a superhero team. So what does he do?
For 5 mana, you get a 4/4. When Victor Mancha enters, exile target card from your graveyard. You may play it for as long as you control Victor Mancha.
Huh. So you get to play one card from your graveyard. I'm trying to think if that's broken in some way. I don't think it is. Okay, so I'm not seeing commander potential here at all. We're colorless, of course, so we lose so much. You can play for as long... So, interesting distinction here between play and cast. Play is a catch-all term, whereas cast only applies to spells. So play means that you can play a land,
right,
or you can cast a spell if it happens to be one, whereas cast would not allow you to play a land. So that means that, yay, you can play this guy and then play a land from your graveyard? I do not understand this, especially since it says you may play it for as long as you control Victor Mancha. Okay, so that just means you can play in this turn, and then a couple turns later you can do your signature spell or whatever. But when a card changes zones, he'll forget about it. So it's not like you can play Counterspell over and over again or something. I think this guy's pretty bad, honestly. So I think I'm going to put him in rejects near the top. Because, I mean, a 5-mana 4/4 fails a vanilla test. This ability is, like, not terrible, but not good either. Yeah, that's a shame.
There just isn't enough of a reason.
Yeah. Next on our list is Valentina. Oh, did I get the alphabet wrong again? I
Yep.
sure did. Valentina Allegra de Fontaine, who you may recognize from Thunderbolts and from a couple other things where she's played by frickin' the lady from Seinfeld.
Elaine?
Yeah, the actress. I'm struggling to... I'm forgetting her
sorry,
name off
I
the top
don't
of my
know
head.
either.
But in any case, this is the same character as that. She's the one who's like, I'm putting my own Avengers together, and they're going to be capitalists. And also, corrupt. Anyway.
Spoiler alert for Thunderbolts.
I mean, hardly.
And then at the end, they're like, we own you, bitch.
Yeah, basically.
For 2 mana and a black, you get a 2/3 human spy villain. Other villains you control are heroes in addition to their other types.
Uh-huh.
For a tap, you can target a target hero you control connives. Activate only as a sorceries.
Okay, so this is funny in that your villains are now heroes, and your heroes can now connive, but I don't necessarily see the purpose. In that you could play a black hero deck, but why?
Aren't black heroes often villains as well? I feel like there's a high instance of hero villain. I feel like there's a high enough instance of hero villains that this won't be that effective.
So there is
especially in black.
There is a theme in this set of black-white hero-villain crossover kind of stuff. So there's at least one or two hero villains that are black or white or both, but there aren't very many, and the synergies are pretty weak. Because as you can imagine, the heroes and the villains actually don't play together very well.
Most of the time.
No, and I don't think that she's like the solution, you know. She doesn't give them like +1/+1, make them cost less, or, you know, allow... She's also limited to activating only as a sorcery,
and
so you can only do it on your
one.
turn. You can only
It'd be
do
cool
one.
if every hero you controlled would connive.
Yeah, or like whenever a hero you control attacks, it connives, or, you know, or something like that, or they all have menace.
Something with a bit more AoE, you know?
I know. So, I don't think it comes together here. And I don't know about her being a psychic either. I think I'm gonna put her low on the sidekicks, like right around here or something, because
right next to General Ross.
Yeah, did she work with General Ross? I don't remember. General Ross is the president in Captain America: Brave New World, and yet I don't think that these two talk to each other. I don't know. I think she might be in that movie. I don't remember that movie very well. I didn't like it.
It wouldn't surprise me if they had overlapping spheres of influence but never actually met.
Julia Louise-Dreyfus. That's who it is.
There it is.
She won like multiple Emmys for her role in Veep. So yeah. And she's a pretty great comedic actress, although she has not really gotten to show off her acting chops in the MCU, where her character is a little one-note, a little cliche. I feel like she maybe doesn't respect comics, or the people writing her don't. I don't know. I couldn't really guess. We need to move on to Victor Timely. Victor Timely, Wily Tycoon.
I see.
Yeah?
I see we're drawing from the Nikola Tesla school of character design.
So I don't know if he is in the comics. I assume he probably is. But he was in Loki Season 2. He was prominently featured there.
Oh, I haven't seen Season 2 yet. Dang it.
Okay. But the kind of non-spoiler version, I guess, like the premise of this character is that he is the founder of the TVA, the Time Variance Authority.
I thought that was Kang.
You thought? So, like, the Miss Timely, the orange clock hologram thing, is one of his last creations.
Oh, so Kang took it over from him.
You could say that. I'm trying not to spoil anything. In any case, what does he do?
For 4 mana and a blue, you get a 3/4 human artificer villain. When Victor Timely enters, you may cast target artifact, instant, or sorcery card with mana value 4 or less from your graveyard without paying its mana cost. If that spell will be put into your graveyard, exile it instead.
Okay, so he basically gives a small spell flashback. And for a 5 mana 3/4, this is kind of a worse version of that red commander that we saw earlier, where it just puts the card back in your hand. Mm-hmm. And then you could loop that other one in theory to do it again. This one is like that, but worse. And also doesn't give menace or +2/+1 when you, or +2/+0 when you cast spells. So this is kind of bad. But not, like, terrible. I'm thinking around here.
Ooh, under General Ross.
Yeah. Because, I mean, 5 mana is just too much. There's some synergies in Artificer. There's some synergies in Villain. Maybe doing this to an artifact might be better. But I'm not really seeing it. he really should be like less, but I imagine that they don't want this kind of effect to come out too early. As we move on to Viper, Cruel Conspirator, who I would have guessed is a G.I. Joe villain, but what do I know?
I see it. For 1 mana and a black, you get a 2/2 human assassin villain. For black, a target creature that's attacking alone gets 1/1 until end of turn. Or for black, a target creature that's attacking alone gains your choice of Death Touch or Lifelink until end of turn.
This is not terrible, but not great either. Let's compare to other black cards with Exalted. Okay, so
I wonder if this is a version of. I wonder if this is a version of Viper from. Wait, is she different from Lady Hydra, or am I just?
I feel like they might be allies or something. I don't know. But like, okay, Knight of Infamy is a very similar card in some ways. It's 2 mana, 2 power, Exalted, so whenever a creature attacks alone, it gets +1/+1 until end of turn. She can do that, but she has to pay a black to do it. But I do like the choice of Death Touch or Lifelink, and of course she has 1 more toughness. Also, this card was printed in 2012, so it's been a long time since then. And we have a few other, like, Exalted. Honestly, you would probably play a few of these in her deck. Maybe Neferox, for instance. Whenever Neferox attacks alone, defending player sacrifices a creature, and he's got Exalted, so he'll get another +1/+1, and he's got Flying. I don't know. You definitely play Cathedral of War. But here's the thing that makes her better than Exalted. You can activate that first ability over and over and over again.
Yep.
So this is actually a deck where you can kind of go wide and tall at the same time. I think the plan is mono black ramp, where unlike some of these other ones where you want to ramp so that you can cast your 6 or 8 mana commander, you want to ramp so that you can cast your 2 mana commander and then activate her ability a lot.
Yep.
Like a lot. In fact, is this where we can get in the... is it Illusionist Bracers? Whenever an ability of equipped creature is activated, if it isn't a mana ability, you copy it and choose new targets for the copy.
Oh no.
Yeah, so whenever you do one of her abilities, you do it twice. So effectively, 1 mana is +2/+2 to a creature that's attacking alone. So I guess the only tough part about this is that you do want to get some sidekicks that have, like, Menace or Flying or Trample or something. And then go like, go, my sidekick! And then they get beat the hell up. And they're like, good job, you are dead. Go, my sidekick number 2! And keep doing that. And she just stands back, whipping them into action.
Fly!
The only real problem here is that, yeah, they have to attack alone each time.
Also, I'm not going crazy. She looks exactly like Madam Hydra, right?
Let's see. Madam Hydra.
That is the exact same outfit she's wearing.
Holding a whip. So how much you want to bet Viper becomes Madam Hydra?
That's what it looks like to me.
Yeah. Okay, so, I mean...
I'm not going crazy.
No, the gloves, the green, the
Even
black
the belts are the same.
Belts, yeah. She has a cloak in this one, so that's like she's been promoted. And then, of course, later on, she gets a freaking mind octopus. And that's like her final form or something, where she's still wearing the green outfit with the gloves and the belt. But now she's, like, got her harem of men going. Which, like... You know, good for her.
I don't think I'd want a whole harem. I don't think I can manage that many people.
No.
Maybe 2.
Maybe 2. Okay, so I think this one could be fun. And I think I'm going to put her in wild cards, but pretty high up here. Like around maybe here. Because I think it'll be fun to be like, you, Thopter, go! And then... make the Thopter, like, gigantic or give it Death Touch or something. Be like, well, you did a good job. You killed the one thing. And then, yeah, just keep her on the sidelines, whipping people into shape.
Whip it good.
Yeah. Next on our list is
Vision.
the
Spectral
Spectral
Synthezoid.
Synthezoid. Okay. Well, what does he do?
He comes out of Ultron's caked up metal ass, it looks like.
Yes, I am a butt birth.
And boy, doesn't Ultron look happy about it.
Ultron's like, it feels better than expected.
Oh, we're the worst. For 6 mana and double blue, you get a 2/5 robot hero with flying. Once during each of your turns, you may cast a non-creature or robot spell from your hand without paying its cost.
A non-creature spell. Any non-creature spell, you say?
Or robot.
A non-creature spell or robot spell. Well, I guess we gotta do a little searching, don't we? Alright, so... do an advanced search of what we can play in blue that is robot. And let's search by mana
Edrek?
value. What?
Edrek?
No.
Okay.
Well, I want to see what's the biggest thing. So it always starts with the bottom for some reason, but we'll flip it around. Ah! The biggest robot is the Panther robot. An 8/8 for 10 with affinity for artifacts. Well, that's no fun. We could legitimately pay for this with affinity for artifacts. Now, here's what I think we really want. Motherfucking Krang Utrom Warlord, the 9-mana 9/9 flying trample indestructible haste that gives all of your other artifact creatures flying trample indestructible and haste.
That is some bullshit.
Yes, it is. So I think this is actually the best hit possible when it comes to robots. But that's not the best hit possible when it comes to non-creature spells. I mean, if we change this to just, let's see, creature, not, and land, not. That should be non-creature spells. Honestly, this goes like to infinity and beyond, right? So obviously there's 4,000 that we could play.
Choices.
But what's the highest mana value? Oh, 1,000,000.
Jesus. Anyway.
So that's silver bordered. Where you choose all targets for all spells and abilities. Help us, R&D under mental domination of alien brain in jar. Only chance, Gleemax's blatant disregard for flavor text.
Send help!
Or Mox Lotus, which costs 15 but does tap for infinity. So that's nice. Silver bordered cards are a little weird. Blinkmoth Infusion has affinity, so it doesn't really count. Enter the Infinite now. Could you read this one for us?
Wow, that's pretty.
Yeah.
For 8 mana and quadruple blue, you draw cards equal to the number of cards in your library, then put a card from your hand on top of your library. You have no maximum hand size until your next turn.
Yep.
Don't just have an idea, have all of them.
Yep, with this card you have all the ideas. You draw your entire library, sans the one card that you don't care about, maybe an island or something. So what can't you do with that? Or Excalibur also has a cost reduction on it. This one, though, this spell can't be countered. You destroy target permanent. Somebody draws 4 cards. Oh yeah, and take an extra turn. That's pretty good. You don't have to pay its cost. Honestly, we could go on. A lot of them are going to be take an extra turn. In fact, honestly, that seems like the obvious thing. Once during each of your turns, you may cast a non-creature or robot spell. That's what you're actually going to do. You're going to cast take an extra turn, and then on your next turn, you cast take an extra turn, and on your next turn, you cast take an extra turn. And they'll all be free, and you'll be hitting with some robots along the way. Because assumedly, you're spending some mana on other things while you're taking endless turns. This is some bullshit. But the thing holding it back, of course, is that it costs 8. If only there was a way in blue to make a whole bunch of mana for artifacts. Gosh, I don't know. But we did see a number of things with affinity for artifacts. There's lots of that. There's lots of artifacts that tap for mana. There's lots of blue cards that make artifacts cost less mana. Honestly, it's pretty nuts. If you build a dedicated deck around this, it's going to be bracket 4 infinite turns, and I hate it. So he goes up in super. But I hate him. So I'm putting him at the bottom of super.
All right, this is another one where we got to put an asterisk, bracket 4 and up.
Yeah, for sure. Especially if you're going to be, like, throwing this guy out of Ultron's ass at people. Okay?
This is what happens when you tell Ultron to throw it back. Mm-hmm. We're terrible.
Yep. As we move on to Vulture, Feathered Fiend.
Ah, this is some classic stuff.
Yes, it is the classic Vulture. I did really like the Vulture from Spider-Man Homecoming,
The Michael Keaton
though.
Vulture.
The Michael Keaton one was actually great.
Yes, he was. He was fantastic. I love that character.
But this is the old school one.
So, good feelings. Mm-hmm. For 2 mana and double blue, you get a 2/4 human artificer villain with flying. Whenever one or more creatures you control with flying deal combat damage to a player, put a 1/1 counter on each of those creatures and draw a card.
This is actually kind of good. I mean, okay, 4 mana, 2/4 flying is not gonna, make any waves here, but, if you just hit with him, you still get a +1/+1 counter on him and draw a card. And it says 1 or more creatures, right? So it doesn't care about how many creatures you hit with, but it does say to a player. So that does mean that it will trigger if you hit multiple players. So you can, in theory, have this guy and 2 other flyers hit all 3 of your opponents, draw 3 cards, and put 3 +1/+1 counters on each creature you control.
Neat.
That's pretty good, actually. And there's lots of, 1 mana flyers that you could throw in this deck and just really, bop people. And then when they start at 1 mana and then they grow like that,
We are taking the skies, my friends.
I'm thinking, here. This Vulture's pretty cool, actually. Assuming that I've got that right, I'm pretty sure I do. That if you have this and, I don't know, Flying Men. Flying Men from Arabian Nights is the baseline flying man who is a man with flying. And honestly, in this deck, good enough. Not entirely. You can do there are a million flying men plus something. Siren Storm Tamer is the first that comes to mind. As a look at that, 1 mana, 1/1 flyer, but also they're a Siren Pirate Wizard, so that's neat. And you can pay a blue, sacrifice them, and counter a spell or ability that targets you or a creature you control. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Ooh, I just thought of another one that would be really good. It's the, oh shoot, it's a Phyrexian, but it's oh no, what is it called?
Jin-Gitaxias?
No, oh wait, Thrumming Bird. That's right. Thrumming Bird.
Woo!
Is a 2 mana 1/1 flyer. When it deals combat damage to a player, proliferate.
Oh.
So you can just add more of those counters. Just up and up and up and up. And honestly, I love this because of 2 things. You can play a lot of weak cards that are cheap and make them very, very effective.
Pump them up.
That you only have to pay 1 or 2 mana for these little flying creatures, and then you will not only make them bigger with those counters, but also you'll draw cards to replace them, so you can keep steamrolling people. This is a mono blue deck that has a plan to win and recoup itself. And in theory, if you get in even just 1 or 2 hits, then you should be able to replay Vulture, to, do whatever you want. Hell, I'm actually even just realizing here, Vulture himself does not need to be one of the guys attacking in order for the trigger to happen. So you could have 2 or 3 flyers on the board, drop Vulture, and swing with the other creatures that were already there, and get all the counters and draw a bunch of cards. I think this guy's awesome.
Dude's very efficient.
Where did I put him again? In Super? Yeah, actually. Okay, this is going to be really weird. I did not actually expect this. Although I may personally go and get like art from the Michael Keaton one to put on here, but actually that fits just as well considering Artificer villain. But yeah, no, I think this guy's awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, and I was as surprised as anybody with that. Next, though, we have War Machine James Rhodes.
For 3 mana and a hybrid a hybrid white-blue, you get a 3/2 human hero with flying. Whenever War Machine attacks, tap up to 1 target creature.
This is very meh.
Yeah.
Very okay. I mean, 4 mana 3/2 fails the vanilla test. Flying doesn't bring it up. If it was a 3/3, then that would be very okay. A repeatable tap 1 creature is not terribly exciting. I think that he's gonna go probably around here in the sidekicks near the bottom. Maybe you have an artifact creature synergy thing going on. He is in blue-white, so he's got some interesting combinations there. Maybe you do have some combo where you want to tap a creature every turn and have flyers. I don't know. He's maybe not a reject, but it's kind of pushing it. You almost didn't make the cut at all, buddy.
Be happy you are to be this far.
Yep.
And I believe next is Wasp, Shrinking Savior.
Yep. Okay, so she's dropping a Coke on this guy's face, who's shooting buzzsaws at her. So it looks like she's gonna pin him for littering.
For
Got him.
For 2 mana and a blue, you get a 1/3 human hero with flying. Whenever Wasp attacks, up to 1 other target creature gains -3/-0 until your next turn. Then draw a card for each creature with power less than 0 on the battlefield.
Power less than 0? Power less than 0? Whoa! She's not that good, but power less than 0 is exactly the kind of phrase I like to see. What? I don't think I've ever seen that before. Draw a card for each creature with power less than 0 on the battlefield. I was just talking to you like maybe last week and in some former video about how it is possible for someone's power to be less than 0. It just usually doesn't matter. It's always effectively 0, but here it matters for once.
But it draws you a card, and it kind of doesn't really... It doesn't give you a game plan for how to win. Since it doesn't affect their toughness, whatever it is still going to be on the battlefield.
Okay, look. Maybe maybe in all honesty, she deserves to go down here somewhere. Okay? But I just think that that's super cool.
I mean, it is cool and interesting, but how effective is it?
I
really?
mean, she could draw you multiple cards, and that's nice. And she can swing for a whole 1, right? And
really, it's just a weird draw condition.
Well, also, she does shrink the creature until your next turn, so it stays shrunk when you're attacking them and when they try to attack you back. And when I say shrink, by the way, shrink. This is a classic card. Target creature gets -5/-0 until end of turn.
She looks like She-Hulk.
Yeah, she kind of does. She's got a sword, though. Yeah, all the way back in freaking 1995. Shrink. Big lady. Do not fear adversity. Let your courage be your strength. Onata Anaba Shaman. Oh, weird. The flavor text is from this guy, I guess.
Oh.
Because Anaba are a kind of lesser Minotaur tribe. They're Minotaurs that don't have horns. So, yeah.
So, fawns?
Something like that. I think Zedru is one. Does Zedru have horns? I don't remember. Come on, internet. Come on. Okay, whatever. Regardless, I love that they're using the flavor of the ability canonically referred to as Shrink, because it, reduces power like that.
That is cute.
Oh, she does have horns. Okay, well, whatever. Also, Mason the Mind Cage is a card I haven't seen in a long time, and I think I'm maybe... Hey, I am spelling it right. Can you read this card for the class?
For 4 mana and triple blue, you get a legendary enchantment. All creatures get -X, -0, where X is the number of cards in your hand.
Yay! So now no one has power. Everyone's in the negative.
So you can draw a bunch of cards.
Yep, you can draw a whole bunch of cards while swinging for 0, and nobody has any power. And you can keep all those cards in your hand. So, yeah, I did actually play a deck a long time ago that cheated an enchantment onto the battlefield. I cheated this one, and then usually everyone's creatures were like -3s for the rest of the game. And then I won with something else. I think it was like an enchantment that dealt damage to all players or something. But yeah, so Mason the Mind Cage, it costs 7 though. So there are probably other cards that shrink that get no play in Commander, but could because of Wasp. So I think that's super cool, but I do have to admit that does not make her super. That makes her a wild card. She needs a lot of help, but it's funny. Okay?
I agree.
We're moving on. Oh, it's the guy who is shooting blades at her. Is that actually the next guy on our list? Yes.
Yes, it is.
It's Whirlwind, Killer Cyclone. Okay.
For 2 mana and a red, you get a 2/3 mutant villain with haste. Whenever one or more creatures you control that entered this turn attack a player, target creature that player controls can't block this turn.
That entered this turn. Okay. So target creature that player controls can't block this turn. Okay, so he's like a haste commander. Okay.
And he dresses like actual trash.
Yeah, have you heard about this guy? I think he's going by the name Binhead.
Yes, Binhead!
I've just heard about this guy. I still know nothing. Binface, is that it?
I can't...
Yeah, Binface.
I haven't had yet worked up the courage to Google... Wait, is Count Binface Lord Buckethead? Or are those two different people?
Buckethead is somebody else.
That is not who I mean. It's Lord Buckethead.
Okay, well, regardless, we need to focus on the magic, I think. So 3 mana, 2/3 with haste is not that great, but presumably you play him and you immediately attack with him and you get his ability to make some creature unable to block, and then you play a deck that is full of hasty creatures and make them, kind of unblockable. It all sounds a little weak sauce to me. I do remember there being a commander from Streets of New Capenna who cared about haste, who I remember liking quite a bit. And I think he was like a lizard. Okay, I'm gonna say I'm gonna try to find him real quick. He's a legendary. I think he's a lizard. And he says haste on him. Yeah, Agnes. See, this is what I was thinking. He wasn't printed as a lizard, but he's been errated to being a lizard. So when you search for him, you do have to include the current text, not the old text. But yeah, this guy, 4 mana, including a wild mana cost there. Don't even try to say that one.
Thank you.
But it does include black and red and green, so you got all your Jund colors. He's a 3/3 with haste, which is a little underpowered, but whenever a creature you control with haste attacks, create a tapped treasure token. And I gotta say, a tapped treasure token, I can think of a million more ways to use it. And getting access to green and red is also freaking awesome. Green and black, I mean. And he's just cool. Look at him. He's breathing green fire. For God's sake. And look at this.
Woo!
You got I don't know if you like this art style, but it's very different.
I like it.
Cool.
I'm digging the Art Deco.
Yeah. So good. This guy, not as good as all that. Okay, but it seems pretty clear, though, that he would either be a sidekick or a wild card. Which one? I'm leaning towards sidekick.
Same.
He'd actually be good in an Agnes deck, specifically. You could build a mono red haste deck, but I just think that you're probably going to end up with a deck full of jank. A deck full of kind of garbage. So I wouldn't bother. But if you've got an Ognis deck, hey, you've got one of the few creatures that cares about haste in a tangential way. So put it in there.
Next up is White Tiger Amulet Keeper.
Oh, you already looked?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So White Tiger Amulet Keeper. I think we've reviewed another White Tiger, but they looked a little different.
Yes.
All right, well, what do they do?
For 1 mana and a green, you get a 3/1 human hero. For 3 mana and a green, exile this card from your graveyard. And exiling this card from your graveyard, you draw a card. You may put a land card from your hand onto the battlefield. That's it.
So they're a 3/1 that wants to come out, get in 1 hit, and then die. And then 4 mana to explore. Just to tell you what I'm talking about, there's the explore mechanic, there's the card exploration that sees a lot of play, but the card explore is just you can play an extra land this turn, draw a card. Oh, that's a Star Trek card, I think.
Yeah, it is.
Oh, Captain Jonathan Archer from Enterprise. What? Did we... Oh. Okay. Alright, oh, there's some Ferengi. Okay, cool. Didn't know about those. Anyway.
Pretty.
So play an additional land this turn, draw a card. But you can pay twice as much for it and exile your commander from your graveyard. This
Reject.
seems butts.
Yeah.
This is patootie. what is all this pomp and circumstance? What was it? All this like sound and fury signifying nothing. I think that's the phrase.
Next up is White Widow.
Oh, White Widow! It's Yelena Belova. We love her.
We love Yelena.
Yeah, I've been a fan of Florence Pugh for years. I've been saying it the whole time, and then
Yep.
she shows up in. She actually showed up in the Black Widow movie the first time, and then in a couple of the TV shows, and then Thunderbolts. So, as a magic card,
For 1 mana and a black, you get a 1/2 human assassin villain with Death Touch. Whenever a creature you control with Death Touch deals combat damage to a player, put a 1/1 counter on it.
okay.
Assassinations only happen to important people. It's a compliment.
True fact, when I was like in middle school, I used to say that the way that I wanted to die was by being assassinated because that implied that I was important. I still think that's a little clever, although she thought of it clearly. So honestly, it's pretty clear to me that she goes in sidekicks, but I think she's a pretty good sidekick. You see how we got Bushmaster here, who, in tiny text on here, does give creatures you control with counters Death Touch. And this one says, creatures you control with Death Touch do a thing and they get counters.
Oh.
And they cost the same amount of mana, and they have inverted power and toughness, and they both have Death Touch.
They're compliments.
They are very much compliments. Moreover, there are a number of Death Touch commanders that you could play her in. I believe the most popular right now is the Serpent Society.
Play her in a Golgari deck with the Snake Guy, and I think that would be great.
Yeah, actually, these two go great in a Serpent Society deck, where you've got, like, these ones all posing, and then this one's like, oh, shoot, are you guys taking the picture right now? Oh, was I supposed to be in the background? Aw. Oh, the cameraman's right there. I didn't realize. And then that's just like Karn back there. What is Karn doing back there? Hold on. Karn. Specifically this one. Specifically this one. This guy.
Karn is looking a little lost, is what he's doing.
Yeah, Karn is this guy. Is that not the same guy?
How did I get here?
What am I doing? Reptile House? What? Anyway, this thing's got Death Touch, and whenever another creature you control with Death Touch dies, each opponent sacrifices a non-token creature. She can be played in that deck and cares about Death Touch and makes your creatures bigger, and that's pretty cool. So she's not a good commander. I mean, you could play Mono Black Death Touch, but I don't think that this is worth it, really. But I think she's neat. And one thing before I go, if we do Scryfall Tagger, I bet we can find Yelena Belova. And there, she's on 3 cards, including one with her sister, and one where she's doing this, which, I don't know, was she a better card? I don't remember.
It has been way too long.
We've been at this a long time. Skin tight clothing. I'm not going to click on that right now, but that's neat. Who's next on our list? Is it Wiccan?
Wiccan.
Okay. Wiccan Young Avenger.
Finally, his mom is no longer mogging on him.
Yes.
For 3 mana and a red, you get a 3/3 mutant warlock hero. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, exile the top card of your library. Until your next end step, you may play that card.
Until your next end step. So that's tricky. So if you play a sorcery or sorcery speed card, like an artifact, on your own turn, then your next end step is the end of that turn. But if you play an instant, then you get to untap and have a whole turn, and then it goes away. So I think this is a mono red like instance deck, so that you get more time where you can spend mana on instance one turn and then have mana to spend on the things that you find the next. Once again, it does say you may play that card, so that means that if it is a land, you can still play that land. So that's nice. They have been doing that more, just in case they reveal Mountain, it's not like, well, that's garbage. But 5 mana for a 3/3 that does this and
4
nothing
mana.
else. Sorry, what did I say?
5.
Okay, well, 4 mana for a 3/3 that does this and nothing else. Impulse Draw is merely okay. I really wish they had one other thing on here. As it stands, I think I can't put them in Reject, but they're not that good.
And someone needs to get them a better outfit.
Yeah, I think I'll put them like right around, right around Valentina. I think they're probably okay in the 99 of a deck that's doing this. But yeah, they're wearing like they're a guy wearing yoga pants and like their baby blankie or something.
I like
and a Naruto headband.
If it were me, I'd lose the stupid headband. I'd put a hood on the poncho thing, and instead of red, I'd probably make it like dark brown, and maybe for a splash of color, I'd give him like a scarf underneath the poncho.
Yeah, so that's kind of the classic look where there's like no detail there. A more modern look has him looking like this, where there's like clearly some detail there. But even still, he's got like, at best, a Gambit look going on here. And Gambit was the only guy cool enough to pull off the Gambit look. The Gambit
Also,
looks kind of
Vincent
ridiculous.
Valentine called and he wants his coat back.
And so does Doctor Strange wants his hand symbols back.
Yeah.
Okay.
I guess that's his problem. He's too much composite character. It's possible to reference other characters without this.
But also, to be fair, he is like a child of delusion. Like, he's kind of invented from Wanda's imagination of what kind of children she might have. And she imagines one like her and one like her brother. Yeah, I mean, WandaVision is a little bit unique in that regard, but I think that's still more or less how they come to be in the comics as well, is that she imagines having children with Vision, perhaps, or maybe just having children on her own, and imagines these children, I think.
I will remind you that in Multiverse of Madness, she looks into other worlds and sees, oh, I guess that it really is what our kids would be like.
I guess.
So it's not like they're solely delusion.
Okay.
There may be some continuities where they were deluded into life, but there are others where they weren't.
Okay. Well, the next one on our list is Winter Soldier Bucky Barnes, who, if you could read that for us.
For a single white mana, you can get a 2/2 human soldier hero, and he enters tapped.
Why is this $1.50? This is a common.
It's a tutorial card.
It's a tutorial card. Okay, this is a bad magic card. I mean, compare this to Whiplash, who I am one of the only people who respects, because he's 1 mana for a 2/2 that enters tapped, but also he does something cool with equipment.
He just needs a minute to warm up.
Yeah, he was on ice for decades, and then when he woke up, he was still just a 2/2. And yet, $1.50 and 20 cents. So, Winter Soldier going right around here. here.
This is poop
Yeah.
from a butt.
Yes.
It's honestly worse than if he had no text. So I think he should go.
Yeah, his only ability is a drawback. Oof.
I think he should go at the absolute bottom.
Isamaru. Hold on. He also compares unfavorably to Isamaru, Hound of Konda, a commander that came out in 2004, which is just him, but no drawback. Also, on the upside, he's a dog.
So he's a good boy.
You were saying the bottom. Well, comparing to Black Widow Natasha Romanoff, who is a 2-mana 2/2 with no drawback. Whoa.
Yeah, I think he should go underneath her because, again, this is poop from a butt.
I am okay with Black Widow topping Winter Soldier, so I'm going to go with that.
Weirdly, I'm okay with that too, now that you mention it.
Yep. Okay, next on our list is Wolfsbane.
This one I have been looking forward to because this is my mom's favorite Marvel character.
I get a feeling sometimes that this is like the only reason why she's kept coming back to record more and more of these with me for so long is because eventually we'll get to Wolfsbane, but right near the end.
Well, I do have things to say about Marvel stuff in general, and I have a lot to say about this character in particular.
Excellent. Well, what does she do? Of the Highland hero.
She's Scottish.
Yes.
For 1 mana and a green, you get a 2/2 mutant werewolf hero with trample. For 2 mana and a green, Wolfsbane gets +2/+2 until end of turn. Activate only once each turn.
Well, you know what that means. Activate only once per turn. She's a 2-mana 2/2.
Sidekick material, I think.
Maybe right around.
I will hit you.
Right around.
Maybe not that high.
Okay. Yeah, I'm actually not sure exactly. Like, I've brainstormed her over the past couple of weeks, and I think that she doesn't really make sense as a commander. So maybe she's around here or something.
Honestly, that feels fair.
Because 2-mana 2/2 with trample, that... okay, so I have a commander who is Wilson, although now that comes up with multiple things, because now it comes up with Wilson Fisk. But Wilson, Refined Grizzly, is a 2-mana 2/2 that can't be countered, has Vigilance, Reach, Trample, Ward 2, and choose a background. Compared to Wolfsbane, who has Trample, and for 3 mana she gets a little angry for a hot minute. Only once, though, per turn.
Yeah.
So, God.
I love her, but yeah, she's sidekick material.
And I want to say, like, okay, how about, can we reduce this cost? Not really. The best way of doing that's blue. We're missing out on that. There's an artifact that costs 3 that can reduce this mana cost by 1. I don't think that's worth doing. We could put that Illusionist Bracers on her, because technically this says activate only once each turn, which means you can only pay this cost to put the ability on the stack once. However, the Bracers says that when you activate it once, you copy it, so you would actually get her +4/+4 until end of turn. So the best combo that I've been able to think of so far is like 3 to cast, 2 to equip, and it allows her to get bigger... actually, +4/+4 for 3 mana. If she had that to begin with, she would still probably be about the same place she is. You could put some equipment on her or something. No, I mean, she's a common, so what do you expect?
Honestly, I'm hoping that her presence here is a bit of a teaser. I'm hoping
Yes.
that in Marvel sets to come, we'll get to see not just her, but the rest of her team.
Oh,
who
yeah.
I notice have been suspiciously absent from this set.
Yeah, we're missing a lot of X-Men characters. We got a few, of course. Wolverine and Beast and, Storm. We got like 4 Storms. But that's in part because Storm overlaps a lot with Wakanda. But we fully expect that there's going to be an X-Men set, if not in 2027, then in 2028. And hopefully Wolfsbane will come back, because if
Along
she's
with
on
the rest
one
of the New
card,
Mutants.
then she'll be in more than one, most likely. Yeah, and the New Mutants. We don't have Cannonball. We don't have Magic.
And Magic is friggin' awesome. Mm-hmm. We don't even have Mirage.
Yeah.
And we need Magma, okay? And Warlock. Oh my god, we need Warlock. We need our wacky little robot.
By the way, I've been designing some of those on my own in my free time, and I think we may do a little bit more of that later. But for the time being, though, you know what? Here's an excuse. She could go in a werewolf deck. Because there's a werewolf commander. There's two of them that are borderline playable. Red, green, legendary. There you go. Werewolf. Yeah, I think there's like two of them that are viable. Oh, hi. Wait, red, green? Oh, can be played in a red-green deck. Okay. But yeah, these two are borderline kind of okay werewolves. Although they have a lot to do with transforming, which is something that most of the other werewolves do, and she doesn't transform. Technically, she's not a double-faced card here. But, oh well.
We'll see.
That's the most that I can say about her for now, I think.
That's okay, though. I'm hoping there will be more.
Oh yeah, and in preparation for doing these, we did watch the Fantastic Four movie and the New Mutants movie. So, fresh in my mind, a lot of what she does. But Wolverine claws out.
This is
Now,
some good
this is an
artwork.
X-Man.
Hell yeah.
I love him in the water here, like dripping, and the water's like dynamically flipping off of him like he's just going,
Yeah, this is good.
what does he do?
For 3 mana and a green, you get a 2/5 Mutant Berserker hero. You may have Wolverine assign his combat damage as though he weren't blocked. Whenever a mutant you control attacks, double its power until end of turn. Okay, suckers, you've taken your best shot. Now it's my turn.
So, what about the vanilla test on this guy?
Let's see. I know, since you're asking, I know it's a little more tricky than it appears.
Yep.
Let's see. Doing the math. Let's see. At first blush, not quite. But since he's a mutant, his power gets doubled, so that makes him a 4/5. So then, yes, he does.
Basically, yeah. So he will, most of the time when it matters, be a 4/5 for 4 who kind of can't be blocked if he doesn't want to be blocked. Moreover, he can double the power of any of your other mutants, and green happens to be a great color to do this in, because you can play something as simple as Giant Growth. Yeah, just Giant Growth. 1 mana, give him +3/+3 until end of turn. And then he'll become a 5/8, and when you attack with him, he becomes a 10/8. And this does count commander damage, by the way.
Yep.
So you don't need trample or flying or menace on this Wolverine.
He's already got
He can just be blocked, and he doesn't care. He still stabs right through a guy.
Yeah, this guy has all the evasion you're ever gonna need.
So I was tempted for a minute to say, nah, mono green Wolverine doesn't quite have what it takes. But you know what? He does.
I think he does.
He does, actually.
Comfortably.
So I'm going to put him up in super, probably in the middle-ish. Like, actually, I think he's going to be comfortably somewhere around here. Absorbing Man and Titania doubling all damage that creature sources you control would deal is pretty great when their power's already doubled, and then you double their damage as well. So he's actually super sick in an Absorbing Man deck, but he can be the commander of a mutant deck that includes green, and the rest of the mutants will get all that buff as well. So good stuff. And we come down to our last two, I think.
That's right. We're down to the last two.
X-23, who's one of my favorite characters. A mild spoiler warning for Deadpool and the Wolverine. But I'm so glad that Daphne Keane made a return in this role for that movie. And I really hope that when X-Men return to the MCU, that she is included in there as well.
For 2 mana and a green, you get a 3/3 Mutant Berserker hero. Whenever another mutant you control enters, put a 1/1 counter on that creature and a 1/1 counter on X-23.
Okay, despite having, mutant kindred synergies going on here, without something like Trample or Menace or all those things I've said before, Ward, Vigilance, I don't know, First Strike, I don't think that she makes a great commander. But a 3-mana 3/3 is off to a great start, and then she grows rapidly.
And helps someone else grow.
Yeah. Most of the time you see cards that either grow themselves or grow the new creature. She does both. I think that makes her a pretty great sidekick, like up around here.
Put her in the same deck. Put her in a deck that's led by Wolverine Claws Out.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. I don't think I have much more to say about her as we move on to Wonder Woman. Never thought I'd see Wonder Woman from the famous Marvel movie Zarda the Power Princess. Who's, oh, I'm sorry, definitely not Wonder Woman. What was I thinking?
But seriously, who are we fooling?
What the heck? We utopians don't just dream of a better world. We make the world better. I'm sorry, Amazonians. I'm sorry.
For 3 mana and a white, you get a 2/4 human warrior hero with flying. Other heroes you control have Exalted, and if you don't remember, whenever a creature you control attacks alone, it gets 1/1 until end of turn for each instance of Exalted among permanents you control.
Okay, so this is kind of nuts.
We want heroes, but only white ones.
Oh no! Okay, so she's the poster woman for whitewashing in superhero movies. Oh no!
No, not really. We're just screwing around.
So okay, let's see here. Hero. I mean, we know that there's a lot. We know that there is, but I'm curious just how many. There are 68. Not to mention the ones that make hero tokens, which include the job select cards from Final Fantasy. Don't forget that. Also, your classic mirror entity. Mirror entity is a changeling, and so it's a hero, and it can make all of your creatures heroes until end of turn for like 1 mana. You can technically do it for 0, but then you kill your whole army. So maybe 1 mana, you make all of your creatures 1/1s with that are heroes, and therefore they all have Exalted, and therefore she attacks, and then they all, by your powers combined, she's Captain Utopia, I guess. So here's the thing. This is actually really strong. I think, though, I have to put her into wild cards, but she's going to be very high up in the wild cards, maybe around here. Because you do have to play her with heroes. You do have to go out of your way.
Yes.
And you do want to go wide. So look for white cards that can go wide with heroes, and they'll do really well with her. There's also some cards like... what is it called? Well, there's Battle, Grace, Angel. Look for old cards with Exalted, and you'll find some that do Exalted, and whenever a creature you control attacks alone, it gains lifelink until end of turn, and other stuff like that. So Zarda attacking as like a 9-10, a 9-11 or something. Oh no, let's go 8-10. Let's say 8-10. Flying is pretty good, but give her lifelink, and that's even better. And there is one other creature that gives just all your creatures Exalted, and if they have double Exalted, that stacks exactly how you'd hope it would.
Oh my.
Yeah. So, Zarda's pretty strong, but you do have to go out of your way a little bit for her. And a 4-mana 2/4 she's not very good when she's alone, so you need to bring lots of friends.
She's still discount Wonder Woman, but they don't call her the Power Princess for nothing.
What's that meme about, like, I could handle 5 heroes at the same time in combat? In combat, right? Well, she's very powerful, and we have completed our tier list.
We did it!
Of all the commanders
Heavens above, we did it.
The Marvel sets, the
blah-de-blah, the ones.
It includes Jumpstart, it includes the scene boxes, it includes the beginner's box, it includes the welcome decks. All of that. And these are the ones that excite me the most, and Ame, and these are the ones that we think are the best. And these are ones that we think are pretty good if you go out your way a little bit to build around them. They could be pretty good. These ones are probably better in the 99, supporting somebody else. and these are the ones you probably shouldn't be playing in your commander decks. And we only have one more of these videos to go, and it's going to be a short one, people. The last one only has like 14 cards in it or something. So, then we'll take a well-deserved break, and I hope we get a like for this. Do you know how many hours of recording we've been doing for this set? It's 15 million is how many. So hopefully somebody appreciates that, and we get a few likes, maybe a few comments. We love to see them. Until next time, everybody.
Bye-bye.